Hello, welcome back. This is the third episode of the Awkward Silence podcast. Um, and yeah, so I guess I'm keeping this going so far. One of these days I'm gonna run out of stuff to talk about, but um, for now, this is the third episode, episode 3. Um, and yeah, so as I'm recording this, I haven't actually posted the first 2 episodes. Um, it's kind of funny. Um, I went to post the first episode yesterday and it was just taking forever, so I gave up. And I keep going back and forth, like, between what I want to do. Like, there's, like, a part of me, like, that's saying, I recorded these episodes, right? So, I mean, I don't have a need to, like, post them anywhere. And then that's one side, and then all of a sudden my mentality switches and I'm like, actually no, this needs to be out there for me to feel like I did something. And it's actually crazy how, like, polarizing my mind can be. um like, just wanting two completely opposite things in two completely, like, different scenarios, or, like, different times. Like, when I'm you know at one time, like, um wanting to post these episodes. That's just one example. I mean, there's plenty of more examples in my life, but that's what I'm talking about right now. Like, from one moment wanting to post these episodes and get them out, and then when I'm in that mentality, I'm like, I just thinking back to the time where I was, like, feeling like I didn't need to post them anywhere. And I'm like, that's kind of like, I don't know, it feels crazy to me that, like, two very completely opposite points of view can exist in one mind, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But um and there's plenty of more examples that I don't want to go into, but it's just, I don't know. That was just something that was very interesting to me. Like, I really enjoy, like, thinking about, like, the kind of the psychology and the brain and, like, how it works. Um so yeah, but I don't really know how it works, so I can't really speak on that. But I just thought it was interesting. So the next part is, I wanted to talk about a little bit about the meaning of life. Um, as I talk about, like, these, like, topics on life, I feel like everything I say needs to be taken with a grain of salt, because I really don't know what I'm talking about. But it's just, I made this podcast to express what I'm thinking, like, my perspectives. So you don't have to agree with me, but this is what, just, and I probably won't agree with myself looking back at this in, like, 5 years or whatever. But anyway, the meaning of life is kind of ambiguous term. Um, and I think that there is no meaning of life. Life is inherently meaningless, which can either, with that fact, um, can either, like, um, be it can either bring you up or take you down, essentially. Like you can, it's all in how you, in your perspective about this fact. If you choose to think that life is meaningless is a bad thing, then you can spiral down and be like, none of this matters, so why even try? But the more positive spin on it would be life has no meaning, which means you get to really decide how you want to live. Like, no one out there, there's no algorithm or um, there's nothing telling you what you need to do, so you can just basically, it's like really liberating. Like, you get that freedom to live how you want to live, and that's really cool and everything. Um, yeah. Um, basically, yeah, that's the whole idea. And um, the other aspect that I'm having a hard time with is like that direction that I feel like I should go in. Like, I don't know what that is. Like, okay, there's a lot of freedom in my life to basically live how I want to live, but having so much freedom is like kind of um like um it makes me shut down a little bit, like not knowing how what like how to live my life basically. And because there's so many different options, so many different roads to go down, so many different things to do, places to see, people to be, and I just want to be them all. Um, but, um, and I just have to hold on to, like, I really hope, I don't know what life after death is really about, but I can only hope that it's reincarnation, because that, that aspect is really, um, really cool, and um, that that I can hope that that's what it is, so that I don't have that I can live multiple lives. Um, but um, yeah, so just like kind of frozen at a crossroads, like what to do and everything. But I'll figure it out. Um, and I feel like I'm already on this path that I don't really know if it's right. And the fact that there is no equation to life, it like makes it so I may never know if this is the right path for me. Um, so, um, which is, um, you know, yeah. um, because I feel like I'm on this path that is not really something I sought after. I feel like I kind of let people um, decide things for me. I'm really um, indecisive of what to do, like on a micro scale and also a macro scale. And um, I just feel like my inability to make decisions is kind of forcing other people to make them for me. It's not their fault, but it's it's just it's like something has to move forward, and if I can't make that happen, then other people have to. So I just feel like I've been thrust into this world that I'm not sure is right, but it could be like, um I'm just not sure, and that unsureness is kind of annoying, but that is also part of life, being unsure. And yeah. Anyway, um that might have been it, honestly. um I know as soon as I stop this recording, I'm gonna think of something else to say, but basically, I think I said everything that I'm going to be able to recall in this thing. So this is episode 3. And yeah, I'm going to try to put out these episodes, and hopefully it'll be good and cool and stuff. Hmm. Okay, one more thing. Just because this was kind of a short episode. Um, talk about running for the 3rd episode in a row. Um, well, because running is kind of a passion, and that goes with the meaning of life. Like, follow your passion. Don't follow you know. I feel like there's so many distractions in the world, and there's so many distractions, and I think that's probably on purpose to um to make you I, to make you like um to make it harder to find your um like what you're supposed to do. And it's kind of like a test in a way, is what I see it as. And the weak will give into temptation and all these distractions, and the strong will move forward and live a life worth living. At least that's how I see it. And I think the distractions are there, but the passions are here to take you out of the distractions. And yeah, anyway. So running. I mentioned a while ago like why I like running so much. Um, in I think that was episode 1. But another thing to add to that is I remember just one experience I had was when I ran a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. Um, and it was in July, I believe, or some August, some summer month. I believe it was July, and it was 90 something degrees out, like near like, and humid, and I thought I was prepared with all my fuel and everything, but I just remember crossing the finish line. Like I was going for a minute, sub 20 minute 5K, and I I just remember crossing the finish line, or well, so at the very end of the race, there's a big hill, of course, um, that just drains you, like of everything, and um, that's kind of well, I kind of like halfway through the race, I kind of slowed way down, and um, because I feel like I wasn't really prepared, but I kept running, and then I went up that final hill, and I was like, at this point, I'm definitely not reaching sub 20 minute 5K because I'm just going way too slow, and I'm going up the hill. At this point, I'm barely hanging on. I'm barely conscious at this point, going up that hill, because 5K is nothing for me. Well, I don't want to brag. I know 5K is it's 3.1 miles. It's like it's not like a marathon, but it's not like, especially when I'm going that fast, you know. I I don't know why I said that. Anyway, um it's like not really that much of a challenge, but in the heat, and I think what I learned from that experience is that my electrolyte intake and my fueling needs to be better. But that race gave me an experience that was like, wow, like this is what I need. Like I ran up that big hill running. I like sprinted across the finish line, and I was incoherent. I was absolutely like I was barely there. The biggest head rush I've ever had, sweat like dripping, and I just remember sitting on the grass under a tree and being like, wow, like this feeling, I need more. I don't know what it was per se, but I was like, wow. Like it's really hard to describe, but basically you feel like you're not really in your body. You feel like everything is happening around. It's kind of like a meditation, honestly. Like everything is happening around you, and then you're sitting there just incapable of like incapable of considering anything. Like my mom was trying to talk to me, and I was just like out of it, and I felt like, you know, I just collapsed on the grass and was like, wow. It's like it's moments like that that make life so worth it, in my opinion. Like being able to feel something, like most people I feel like don't know what that's like. And once you have as much feeling as that, I feel like it just makes you appreciate everything else in your life. Like for real. I felt similar after my first marathon that I ran as well. Like just sitting there and just going through your head, like just contemplating how everything in your life is really the way it is for a reason, I guess. And it's a really amazing feeling, and I feel like everyone deserves to feel that. Although I know not everyone will, because it takes an immense amount of effort. Um, but like eating after a marathon is like, don't even get me started. Like the absolute best food I've ever had. Like it's just like a banana and like maybe a chocolate chip cookie or something, and it's like the like it's unreal just having that immense like gratitude for everything in your life, like everything that you can get because you just did something really extremely excruciating. And it's just that's another reason why I I do what I do. Um, I feel like that 5K that I was talking about was a result. Well, first of all, it was a result of the heat, but also poor preparation. Um, and now I know a little bit more. So like after a bunch of other 5Ks I did, they didn't hit the same. And I feel like any other marathon is not going to hit the same as my first in a way. But anyway, um, but so I'll just be chasing that feeling again and again until the day I die, I assume. With that said, I'm going to end this episode of the Awkward Silence podcast